Hello MJC, this is Ashley Baumgartner, your instructional designer, and I wanted to walk you through what we go over in the Introduction to ConferZoom trainings so that you can watch this on your own time and as many times as you need. So I'm here at the MJC homepage, and what I actually need is the coronavirus public information banner. And when I click there, I am taken to a general information page, but at the top we have resources for students, faculty, and staff. The faculty and staff resources for ConferZoom are the same. I'm going to click on faculty as the example. And then I'm going to find the ConferZoom section. We have written instructions as well as a 1 minute and 30-second video down below that I created for MJC faculty and staff. This was created with the help of an MJC staff member who went through the process to create a brand new account, and we even go through the registration from the email and signing up with a password. So please watch this video, and that's how you get signed up. From there, once you've established your account and you're ready to start recording in Zoom and or scheduling meetings, let's go to ConferZoom.org. I'm going to get signed in. And this brings me to my ConferZoom meeting dashboard. And it depends what you're using ConferZoom for. You can use it in different ways. If you just want to use it to create videos like the one that you're watching right now, where you record and then share with your students afterward, there's nothing for them to attend, but they watch it on their own time, you can definitely do that. You can also schedule a meeting for students to join in during regular lecture hours. They can join an online office hour. So let me show you how to set up the recording settings if you want to record something in Zoom. Over on the left, you'll go down to Settings, and then go to the Recording tab. So we want to make sure that cloud recording is enabled, and you just do that by toggling it over to the right and making sure that it becomes blue and slides over. The local recording will save the video to your computer, but it will not save an audio transcript file, which we need for accessibility. So if you use the cloud recording, you're able to check the box that you want an audio transcript, and you'll want to record the active speaker with shared screen. I have a couple of other options checked here, and I'll explain those. Record active speaker, gallery view, and shared screen separately means that I can choose to just check shared screen, and then no video will appear in the video at all. I won't appear in the video. Any students who are in the live lecture won't appear in the video if I decide to record that. So if you have concerns about students not wanting to be on camera or something like that, you can check these two boxes, and then students will not appear on camera, and neither will you. So something to keep in mind with that is that when students first enter into a recording, if all it is audio, the screen will be black if you're not sharing your screen, and students will only be able to listen. And that might be kind of jarring at first, and they might feel like they're missing something. So you might want to let them know, if you do decide to go this route, that they will not be seeing any video at the beginning, or just make sure to share your screen the entire time. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that even if you have these two options enabled, students' names might still appear in the audio transcript if they talk throughout the lecture, so if they ask questions or participate in the discussion. So if students want to make sure their names aren't included in the recording, you would want to ask them to save their questions for the end, or they could put them in the chat. And if you don't check this box that says to save chat message, any messages they put in the chat will just get deleted once the meeting is over, and they wouldn't be included in the recording. So those are the options for recording. And now I want to go into setting up a meeting and beginning recording your lectures. So let's go back to meetings over on the left. So if you just wanted to record a lecture, you could go up to host a meeting with video on, and you would instantly be brought into a Zoom meeting, and you could click record and start making your video. If you want to do something like schedule a meeting for the future or schedule a meeting for students to join, you can do that by clicking on Schedule a New Meeting. And from here you can give the meeting a title, online lecture, and then you can select a date from the drop-down menu. Maybe that's this Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. and maybe the duration is a couple of hours. And then down below, we like to make sure that the participant video is off when the meeting starts. That way students' video doesn't start before they're aware of it. And then down below, we also make sure to mute participants upon entry for the same reason, to make sure that their audio isn't on without them knowing. They can always unmute and start their video as needed. And then enable join before host and enable waiting room. These two things just give students somewhere to wait if they join early in the meeting, and it will let them know that the meeting host will let them in shortly. So let's save this and take a look at what we have. So we're brought to the meeting details, and if we look at the join URL, this is what you could copy and share with students. They could just click on the link from a computer or a tablet or a phone, and on a computer they will just start a download that's about 2 seconds, and then they will be launched into the Zoom meeting. If they're on a phone or a tablet and they have the Zoom Cloud Meetings app downloaded, then when they click this link, it will automatically open up the app and everything will be populated for them and they can join into the meeting. If you look at this option over here that says copy the invitation, this has a lot of information. It has some phone numbers and a meeting ID. If students want to join from a phone that isn't a smartphone or that just doesn't have those capabilities to have video, they can still call into the lecture, listen, and they can participate with the audio. So that is an option, and all you'd need to do is provide them with one of these phone numbers and the meeting ID, and then send that to them. So another thing I'll point out is that the last 9 digits of this URL just so happen to be the meeting ID as well. So if students are asking you for it, you can find it right here. And then you would just copy this link and the phone number if necessary, and you could send that to students as an email, or you could post it as an announcement in Canvas or something like that. And when you're ready to start the meeting, you can open the link from anywhere that you have it, right here in Zoom, the announcement or the email, and you would be able to start the meeting as the host. So I do want to show you a couple of more settings you could set up on a meeting. So let's go back to the meetings dashboard and we'll go to schedule a new meeting. So maybe I want to set up Monday, Wednesday lectures to be ready to go every week. And you can do that by setting up a recurring meeting. So maybe this begins on Wednesday once again, and it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a couple of hours long once again. And then we need to check recurring meeting. And this recurs weekly, and I can check Wednesday and Monday. And then I'll just put this at a date in the future for now. And then down below, we'll enable those same settings. So I'm going to turn off the participant video, make sure I've enabled these 3 items, and then I will select Save. So the cool thing about setting up a recurring meeting is that the link stays the same. So no matter when you are starting a lecture, the link is always the same. And that can be easier when you're trying to keep track of multiple different meeting times. And if you just have the same link, you know you can always click that one and it will get you to the same place. I would still recommend, even if the link is the same, to just remind students with an announcement or an email and say, this is the link, click here to begin, as well as the meeting ID and the phone number if necessary, and that can be found under the copy invitation. All right, so once we've set up our meeting, we are ready to begin. We could, again, click on the link to start the meeting. And if we wanted to just record a video of a lecture to share with students afterward, once again, we could go up to host a meeting with video on. I am going to go to host a meeting with video on for now. Both are going to take me to the Zoom tools that I want to walk you through next. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to go to Open Zoom Meetings. and then it will load, and you're brought to this screen every time. Joining with computer audio just means that you're joining the meeting and you're going to enable your microphone. It doesn't mean that you will be heard, you will be muted, and then you can unmute yourself and mute yourself as needed, but you also need to join with computer audio just to hear any meeting. So if you close this and you don't join with the computer audio as a participant of a meeting, you would not be able to hear what anyone is saying. So you always need to join with computer audio. And then you're brought to the Zoom window. So let me extend this so that you can see it a little better. And I want to point out a couple of tools here. So it's telling me I'm muted, and in the bottom left, I can unmute myself if I want to, and then I can mute again. You can always check your speaker and microphone before any meeting by clicking this arrow that points up and going to Test Speaker and Microphone. So you might not hear that, but I heard the ringtone, so I'm going to select yes. And then I'm hearing my recording, so I'm also going to select yes and finish. Okay, and then if you were to run into issues where the test didn't go well, you could click the up arrow next to mute, and you could look at any different speakers you might have or different microphones that you might have the option of using to see if those ones would work better. One thing I also want to point out is that when you leave the Zoom window, notice your tools go away. So when I go out of the Zoom window, I'm down below, and then I come back in, they reappear. So if you're ever looking for them and they've gone away, just make sure that your mouse is somewhere in the Zoom window and all of your controls will return. And then next to mute, we have Start Video. So I'll go ahead and click there. And to the right of that, we have another upward facing arrow. This is where I can click and choose different cameras that I might have connected to my device. This is my camera that's already included on my laptop, and then this is my external webcam. So if you're not seeing your video and you have something like that plugged in, you might need to go to your other camera to figure that out. A couple of more tools here. We have the invite option, and if we click there, the URL and meeting invitation are available. So if you started a Zoom meeting just spur of the moment and you wanted someone to join in, maybe you're on the phone with them and they're experiencing a technical difficulty and you want to be able to share screens or something like that, you could just copy the URL and send it over to them and they could join your meeting right away. You could also copy the invitation if you want to offer someone to join by phone. So let's go ahead and close this. And then I'm going to join this meeting from my phone as a participant, so that we can see what it will look like when students are waiting in the waiting room. And let's see, so give me just one moment, join. Okay. All right, so this is what would happen as students enter if you have the waiting room set up, and you can decide to admit them from here. If you click on Manage Participants though, you'll be able to see what this looks like from a different view. So we have one student waiting, and this is my iPhone, and you might have a list of students. When you just have one, you can click Admit. If you had multiple, you would have an option up here that says Admit All. So for now, I'm just going to click Admit so that we can see what this looks like. All right. So once someone is in, we have what is called the gallery view, and you might have multiple students in this view. I think you can view up to 25 people on one screen, and the thumbnails just become smaller. You can decide to click on speaker view, and this will take you to whoever is speaking at the moment. And then you can go back to gallery view by clicking up at the top. You can also enter full screen with the icon at the right, and you can exit by clicking on it once again. And then down at the bottom, there are a couple more tools I want to show you. The chat feature is how you can communicate with students. You can send that to everyone, and that, it's being sent to everyone because the drop-down says so. You can also message students individually, and they can also message one another, and you can just send them a chat. This won't show to everyone, and it would just show up for them. Another tool is the share screen option, so let's click there. And you're automatically going to default to sharing the screen. And when we click on share, this is what that will look like. So here students will be able to see anything that you do on your computer. I just so happen to have my browser open. If I were to open a new tab and go to a new website, any website you wanted to, you could go to Google and students would be able to see this. You could also open something like a Word document or say a PowerPoint, and you could show students the PowerPoint right from your computer and they'll see all of this. If you wanted to present, you could also go over to slideshow and select to play from the beginning as you usually would in class and record as is. I do want to point something out about what happens when you're sharing your screen to your Zoom tools. So students don't actually see this here. This is just for you during the meeting. When you're recording something, your video will end up in the top right of your recording after it's all over. But this is how you can see video while you are sharing your screen. You can change this by minimizing. You can also just decide to look at one of the videos. You can look at them in order, and then if you have a larger meeting, you will also have an option here to look at them as a grid. Sometimes this can get in the way and you're always clicking and dragging it around, so you can just minimize it if you need to. And then when you're looking for your Zoom tools during screen share, you might have to hover above meeting ID to get them to come back. So they disappear, and then you can hover and they come back. And if you're looking for the chat or anything like that, you can go to chat from here. You can also get to record. And then when you're done with your screen share, you can just select stop share. One more option under share screen is to share a whiteboard. So let's click there and see what that looks like. So this just brings me to a blank screen that I can write on or use as needed. There are lots of options up here that you can play around with. You can type text as well. And when you're all done, you can select clear all drawings, or you can just go to stop share. One more tool is to record, and this can be used in multiple ways. So if you want to record the lecture that you're doing that students are attending, you can select record and then go about your lecture. And for those students that didn't want to be on camera, who wanted to participate at the end, whenever you're all done with the recording, you would just select stop, select yes, and that means that the recording is over entirely. So you would only want to do that when you're completely finished, and then anything that you do in Zoom after that, any discussions that take place, they will not be part of the recording. So now what I'm going to do is leave the meeting as a student participant so that we can take a look at what it would be like to record a video when it's just us in the meeting. So if you just wanted to record your lecture on your own time and then share that link with students and they could all watch it and it's just you on the video, you could do that as well. You could just select record and you could record the beginning of your lecture, and then maybe you want to share your screen. You could share your browser, or you could decide to share something like a PowerPoint again. Then there are a couple of things you can do as you're recording. So as you're recording, you might need to pause, and you can get back there by going to more and resuming your recording. If we stop the share, we can take a look at those options here as well. So we can always pause and resume. The difference between pausing and stopping is that when you pause a video, that means that your recording will continue and it will all be part of one video once you click resume. Whereas when you click stop, if you click stop multiple times throughout a meeting, you will actually end up with multiple different videos. So if you want just one seamless video, you'll want to use pause and resume. And then when you're all done, you can either select stop or just go to end meeting. All right, and then when we're ready to access that recording, we can go back to ConferZoom.org. Sign in once again. And over on the left is how we access our recordings. We just click on recordings. And that one's already ready. That was really fast. It depends on how long your recording is, how long the processing time will take. But if we click there, then we're brought to a couple of options. Right now, the only one available is shared screen with speaker view. Let me show you a couple of other recordings as a better example. So this is my meeting from this morning. And this has shared screen with speaker view, which is what you would share with students if you want them to see video and the screen. And you could just copy the link if you wanted to, and you could paste that into an email or an announcement. The shared screen view is what you would share if you don't want any video to be shared as part of the recording. So let me show you the difference. So the shared screen with speaker view, automatically you will be able to see that there's my video. And if we go back to the recording information and look at just the shared screen, let's see the difference. So this is just a blank screen, only audio. There is no video of me. So when you're recording a lecture and you want students to watch it later on, it is best to have your video attached. But if it's necessary, you can have it this way. It will just look a little different. When it comes to sharing your screen, so let me fast forward, it will probably. So here I am sharing my screen. Once you share your screen, it does become part of the recording, just so you know. But anytime you're not sharing your screen, students will not see any video. So if you decide to use this option, you might consider sharing your screen the entire time so that they know the video is working. And when you're ready to share, you can copy the link from the top, or you can go back to the recording information and go to the link that you want to copy and share that with students. One more thing I want to show you that is available on either of the recordings. If you go in and you take a look at the audio transcript, so let me pause this. Over on the right is where you find that. And if you ever need to edit this, say it heard a word wrong or something like that, you just click on the pencil and you can type right in this text box. So let's see, did it hear anything wrong here? So maybe I want to fix this here, and I can click Save, and my changes update automatically. And when you share the link with students, it shares the transcript as well. So you can copy the link from up top, or you can go back and copy the link next to the recording that you want to share with students. And that's it for getting started with ConferZoom. Thanks for watching.